You are all, coming to the portfolio. See, nothing else. Nobody bothers when we worship their God.
Not.
Nobody bothers. Durga Puja, see, nobody bothers whether you see their pandals or not. Nobody bothers. They have their own work. Only thing they are in need of money. They come to you ask for money. And give them money. And will somebody force you to go there and see the pandal or worship? No. Nobody. Is it not? Okay. It's not. They are not the problems. We have to. Right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of us.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
That's all. That's all.
Good number. Yeah. Very good. So we have been talking about what was the last thing?
We finished Old Testament, New Testament.
Yeah, we said we finished. But I think little more about
we
this.
are talking about the name Yahweh.
Yahweh, yeah. The name Yahweh, where does it come from? That is what we were
Yes, sir.
saying. Yes. The name Yahweh is not original. Yahweh is not original to the Israelite community. It's also Canaanite. And you said Abraham said it. Where does Abraham get it?
Jehovah Jireh to one.
Yes. Where did he get it?
He himself is.
It is from his own culture. It's in Mesopotamian culture. It's from his Mesopotamian culture. He must have put a name. But then there should be a value for the name. That is it. So, just to say that, see all this kind of stuff. The Israelites adopted many of these things from the Canaanite background and the Canaanite culture, and they could not avoid it. They could not become simply independent without any of these things. That's what we were talking about. Yeah. So it is, and continuing with this, we'll have to understand the boundaries, See, the boundaries within the Israelite community. It was Exodus, you have to see, there was the group of people, they came with the Israelites. See, there were compassionate Egyptians. Became very compassionate with that was, we say, sympathized with the Israelites, with their suffering. And there were people, mixed marriage people. So this community, mixed marriage community also was there. So many of these people must have come out. That is what I say, a group of people belonging to other ethnic groups has accompanied Israel out of Egypt. These are presumably other non-Egyptian people whose association with Israel is, recognized by the ordinary Egyptian people. Exodus 35, 36 you read? Yeah. 35 to 36. Exodus 35, 36. What is it?
And children of Israel did according to the word of Moses.
Yeah.
And they borrowed of the Egyptians jewels of silver and jewels of gold and raiment. And the Lord gave people favor in the sight of the Egyptians.
See, who will give the gold and silver ornaments simply? Who will give? There was a group of sympathizers, compassionate people, sympathizers. Who will give you ornaments? You tell me. Even not only in Indian culture, ornaments were considered as very important and costly. And who will give it simply? Will somebody give ornaments simply? No? Gold and silver ornaments. That is very costly items. And that shows the level of their, the prestige level as well as level of their, status. That is given to Israelites. That means there were sympathizers, compassionate people with Israelites. So they were there, and all others non-Egyptians, when the Israelites left, all the non-Egyptians also must have left. And you need to understand, Moses' life itself was, there was one sympathizer, Pharaoh's daughter. She was the one who brought up Moses, is it not? Even after recognizing this fellow as a Hebrew, she brought him up. From the Pharaoh's family itself, there was somebody. Yeah. So that you can understand. That means you say that there were people sympathized and compassionate people. There were Egyptians who were prepared to act in the way that ignored the king's edict. See, king actually commanded that no Egyptian should help these foreigners. Foreigners were seen as enemies. that means they were not actually according to the king's command. But there were people, helping the Israelites. That is what. Even with their resources, they helped Israelites. And that is what we believe. Some of these people, some non-Egyptians who were there already, they also came on with Israelites. And they were the ones who started murmuring against Israel. Now Moses saying that you promised us the land of honey and milk, and now you put us in the middle. So maybe they were the people. And there was another group, they murmured over the food. They said, we had cucumber, all these things in Egypt. That is true. They eat cucumber so much. Kumbus, cucumber,
Garlic,
garlic,
onion.
everything cucumber would be there. Every meal cucumber would be kept so much. And eating so much. I was wondering the first day I was like, hey, how can I eat this all? And the cucumber is the most, and this much rice is there. And then kubus and then cucumber and some meat or this kind of stuff.
Still till this day?
Yeah, still. Still I was, they say that cucumber is one of the most important items in the world.
True, but they have a different variety than what we have in India.
Little different varieties.
Yeah.
Not our India, little more, bigger than that.
Bigger than that, yeah.
Tasty. It's not a, but the kubus is like a roti, something little different than the roti.
Kumbus.
Yeah. It's again same thing like try out. So, yeah. So the Egyptians still keep the Musa Canal, where Moses was thrown. It is believed that Moses was thrown into that canal. It is not in Nile actually.
Yeah.
It is not in Nile. Moses was actually thrown into a canal which comes to joins Nile River. So it was not in Nile, and it was one of the canals of Nile. That is what the people say. It is nearby the canals, the pharaohs, that canal, several canals for irrigation, pharaohs. So one of the canal, that canal is known as Musa Canal. Musa, that is the place they said Moses was thrown. So still people come to visit that this Musa Canal. So that is actually the story. We don't know whether the same place it happened or not. That is what the locals say. The local history is that. So what we say, these were the people, murmured. We have all these things. But what is there? Nothing is there now. All these things, that is it, yeah. So now, when you see the Exodus 43-49, see there is another group, it says, foreigners become full members, and then Exodus is natives, as good as natives. They are good natives. Okay? Then Passover became the story, and they join its celebration. So that is it. See, these good neighbors, the story of the good neighbors, giving everything. And then once you give everything, what happened? The deliverance. Passover became their story also. Their story also. Passover became. So they also joined. And the people, those who gave the resources, probably some of them have joined this group. That is what we said. Yeah. So then they also, in the round of the sacrifices, and then also joined in the sacrifice and celebration. Yahweh's goodness to the community, they also remembered. And you see, in Numbers also we have that. They have the same obligation and responsibilities as full members of the community. The foreigners also were accepted as the full members of the community. And then, they had the same liabilities and responsibilities. But at the same time, you see Leviticus 16:29, somebody see, and 17:8-15. 17:8-15, you see. What is 17:8-15 in Leviticus? The rules for the foreigners. 17:8-16. 8-15, Leviticus.
And thou shalt say unto them, 17:8-15.
15, yeah.
Said to them, whosoever man there be of the house of Israel, or the strangers which sojourn among you, that of a burnt offering of sacrifice, and bring it unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation to offer it unto the Lord.
Yeah.
Even that man shall be cut off from among his people. And whatsoever man there be of the house of Israel, or of the strangers that sojourn among you, that eateth any manner of blood, I will even set my face against that soul that eateth blood, and will
Yeah.
cut him off from among his people.
Yeah, yeah. See, there's a rule for the foreigners.
Foreigners, yeah.
Then these people are still in the wilderness. They are still in the wilderness. And the rule for the foreigners. Why do you have a rule for the foreigners when they are still in the wilderness? Huh? How is it? അനുമാനം എക്സാം അപ്പം ഞാൻ സാവുനെ വിളിച്ചു നോക്കണം സാവ് ഫ്രീ ആണോ കേട്ടോ വിളിച്ചു നോക്കാം നീ അവരുടെ പൈസ അവിടെ വാങ്ങിച്ചു വാങ്ങാം കേട്ടോ വളരെ പൈസ വാങ്ങിക്കാം നമുക്കതിന് മാറ്റി കൊടുത്തുവിടുന്നോ
Israel.
ഏത് എവിടെ വണ്ടി എ സി ഒരു കാര്യം ഞാൻ സാറിനോട് ചോദിക്കാതെ കാര്യം പറയാം അനുകൊണ്ട് അവരെ വിളിച്ചായിരുന്നു എന്നെ അത് ഓ സാറിന് കാര്യം അനുകൊണ്ട് ഓരോ സോറി
Yes, sir. Please, sir. There's salad, many things, cucumber, tomato, onion, chili. That's all. That's a national dish of Israel.
See, they were considered as full members of the congregation. But at the same time, and they were governed by the rules. And these people, foreigners, how can they have foreigners now?
They must have joined them from the Egypt.
No, that's what I'm saying. See, still in the wilderness and they don't have any other groups coming. So the foreigners, rules for the foreigners, that means there were Egyptians or non-Egyptians living in Egypt, came with these people. That is why there should be a rule. Otherwise, why should you have a rule?
Yes, sir.
That is it. So, and then, see, there is a kind of, yeah. Savia. Yeah, congrats. Oh, picnic ആണ് ഇത്ര അവസാനം रात को आया ये छोड़ना वो मुझे ट्रेन में शालीमार से इसलिए चलो ठीक है आप छोड़ना मेरा पूरा करके जाएगा हाँ छोटा छोटा बच्चे बनेगा, चार बच्चे नहीं मुश्किल हो जाएगा। आप पूछ लीजिए ना, मुश्किल बोले तो बहुत कर दीजिए।
Indian Jews, no?
हाँ
What they used to do, they used to do same recipe,
हाँ
but they will put some ginger and green chili pepper. Oh, Indian Jew, India, chili and ginger garlic, very important. They put that.
yeah.
Some lemon.
So at the same time, Deuteronomy also we see these 4 days. Deuteronomy also, Numbers 15 also we have these 4 days. While they do, they are considered as full members of the congregation. They do not thereby exactly become Israelites, or they are not Israelites, but members of the congregation. So they had a way of understanding this one, when becoming the members of the congregation, they were permitted to have actually, the what to say, privileges of the congregation, full membership. That is it, right? Now, so, and that is the way the people like Ruth, Rahab, all these people became the members, full members. They were integrated in the community. They were from Rahab. Rahab may be, a Canaanite. She was a Canaanite, member of the Canaanite family. But then she became a full member of the Israelite family. That is it. And then a resident alien. And it was permitted that a resident alien has the right to become an Israelite through circumcision. Once become circumcised, they were not considered as inferior. That is it. There was no caste barrier. Once become circumcised, they were never considered as inferior. That is why Canaanite, Rahab was not considered as inferior. So if there was one story, story is mentioned in the Bible, there could be many other. Ruth or Rahab, there were women, is mentioned. That means there should be men also. So the full membership was given, and without any discrimination, and that shows that there was a kind of identity given to them. That is it. Yeah, that is it. Okay. Yeah, they were, and still same way there was resident aliens also. Yeah, there were 2 categories continue to exist. One is full Israelites, integrated aliens, and another one is not full exactly, but resident aliens. That is it. Yeah, yeah. That means, these resident aliens, they will not get the land. They cannot possess the land. But full Israelite has the land rights. That is it. So, it is, the community needs to be, the resident aliens, though they didn't have land rights, but what happens, they were treated as full citizens. Yeah. See, and their needs were met. That is what the rules for the foreigners it is given. That is it, right? Yeah.
So how did they distinguish, sir, actually between these 2 group of people?
See, when the people came out of Egypt, what happened? It is said that, see, one group was later got integrated with the Israelites. Men got circumcised.
Okay.
And women got married into the families, or the girls got married into the families and got completely become one. So they became integrated, and the later generation became integrated generation and the Israelites. But the fathers, the original ones, they did not get integrated.
They must have been dead for the 40 years.
Yeah, they did not get integrated. So what happened? These people, as they were not integrated, they were treated as full citizens and given all the privileges. Though they did not have land, they were given as privileges. Same like the systems today. See, we come to another place, you go to another place, for example, Himachal or something, you cannot buy the land. It's private land. You cannot buy the land in your own name. You are a different person. But then what happened? I be there, I cannot buy the land, but if my son gets married to a woman
Girl.
there, a girl there, she's a tribal girl, Uttaranjali, and they can buy the land. And their children are They are Lutheranis. But I will be still a Malu living there without the land rights, but I will be accepted. I will have the full rights, except the land. You got what I'm saying? Right. Same thing maintained in all the cultures.
So those who were circumcised, they were accepted in the community.
Yeah. And in NJP, we cannot buy land, is it not?
We cannot.
Oh, we can buy NJP. Darjeeling we cannot buy. Or something is there?
It's not like in Darjeeling, some of the areas are there.
Yeah, there is the Gorkha Jana Mukti Morcha. No, Gorkha Mukti Morcha.
Gorkha.
Yeah. GJ. Yeah. GJ is not Mukti Morcha. What is it? Gorkha? Jan?
Gorkha land.
No, that party name is Gorkha Jan Mukti Morcha.
Jan.
So, this is Guru. Guru, you know?
Oh yeah, Guru. Subhas Kisi.
But Kisi is no more. He is gone. Finished. Passed away.
Yeah.
He was actually the leader, congressman. Subhash Kisi. But then this Guru has taken it up.
Bimal Gurung.
Huh?
Bimal Gurung.
Yeah. So, now coming back. No, it's to say that, see, a man who has not been circumcised but joins in the full life of the community would be a little like someone who has not been baptized but shows up for the church every week. You got it? This is something. Somebody who is not circumcised but involved in the full life is just like somebody who comes to the church every day, every Sunday, but not baptized. Yeah. This
We count the 6 lakhs of people, no? 6 lakhs the word mentioned. That means they include their own out of that. Including that 6 lakhs.
Strangers or?
They stranger they include within that 6 lakhs of their.
Yes.
Okay.
Included. 6 lakhs men came out, that's what I said. 6 lakhs men came out. That's what.
Excluding women and kids.
But I don't think so. It will be 6 lakhs, something only.
Plus.
Yeah. It's not an exact account. You don't have an exact account. Who knows how many were exact account. See, later when it was the sources were codified and the sources were, brought together. Some numbers, it's an acceptable number. There was never a kind of, that we have to understand and accept. So, no number is complete. Or this kind of things, no number is complete. When they say 48 is not exactly 40 days, somebody fasted. When they say, 7, nobody knows it is exactly which number. No, because who counted? And who knew it? And how come the 40 became a number? What number? This is it. We have to understand that. Yeah. See, some of those things are very important to understand. That is it. So, there are many other things like that. Yeah. And, yeah. So, it is to say that somebody who comes to church, but not the part of the congregation. Come and worship God. That is, there were not necessarily aliens. There were people come to work and go. Migrant workers. It is like migrant workers. It is something like, now we have in Kerala, we have 40 lakhs migrant workers. Outside is 40 lakhs working in Kerala. And there are all, 10 lakhs Bengalis working in Kerala. Yeah, that's a thing which many, you see, Bengali, Bihar, Orissa, UP, and these are the people working in Kerala. Because we have no people to work. Our people are all abroad. So all MSAs are gone. So we have 40 lakhs working there, and government says 25 lakhs. And because the Onam festival, they gave kids 25 lakhs kids for the people, and that's what they say. But government account always, that will be never correct, So this 10 lakhs, that is what reason you don't get a ticket to Kerala or Kannada. So train ticket you never get. It is because all the trains are always going to the south. And these are all migrant workers. Some of them have come there and they have started their own business, started their own shops, and then they purchase land and they have houses constructed. Some of these people. It's wonderful. Yeah. And these people, last couple 2 years ago, on Sunday, Kottayam town. Kottayam is a town, there's a Christian ethos. So most of the shops, Muslim shops are closed on Sundays. Garments. You won't get anything. I was roaming around for a cup of tea. Because Sunday I got down there and then I was going around for a cup of tea. I found a small shop, then this one and went inside, went there. Two people are sitting and talking in Bengali. And I started talking to them. I started talking to them in India, asked them where are they. They're from Malda. And one fellow is from Purulia, which we have Purulia. And I said, oh, we are there. And the shop fellow is a Bengali. Workers are also Bengalis. We were talking. And then, Malayalis call them Bhaiyas. All are Bhaiyas only. And this fellow was asking me, so much of work is here, why do you go there in Calcutta and work? That's the true thing, See, they are migrant laborers, workers, but what happened? One of in many ways, and these people have become an integral part of the community, and now we cannot survive without them. Kerala cannot survive without these people. That is the story. Even for the Palm Sunday, to bring the palm leaves and palm branches, we had to depend upon Bengali workers. That was the story. And the boat race is completely a Kerala thing. It is only in Kerala you have boat race. Have you seen the boat race?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Boat race. And it was reported that many of the boat race companies hired Bengali friends by us and trained them, and they were doing this time.
Yeah, last time and this time. They got first prize also.
Yeah. And Bengalis were that is Kerala's the most, that is only in Kerala you have boat race. And boat race, even for the boat race, we were depending upon Bengalis this time. Trained them, giving them food and expenses and trained them, and they were the people rowers, and singing and rowing, and that was more. We were not there. We could not. They are migrant workers. See, in Israeli community, it was there, a migrant group, and they also joined them. And but then what happened? They were also given full membership. But no doubt, these groups, it was given full membership or full privileges. That is it. So, from the beginning, Israel lived with the permissible boundaries. The boundaries are important. If Israel becomes distinguishable from the other peoples, God's purpose through Abraham cannot be fulfilled. Yet, the permissible boundary is also important for the same reason. Because Israel cannot completely be out of the other communities. They cannot. Then, how can Israel be a light unto the nations? That we need to understand. It cannot completely outside other groups saying that no connection is allowed. No. Then how can it be light unto the nation? At the same time, it cannot completely mix up with the other group. It has to keep its identity. Did you get it? So, God's purpose for Israel is to keep the identity, at the same time be one with the people. Got it? So that was taking place. Even in the Exodus story, that was taking place. Even in the Exodus story, this was there. This was there. That is it. Yeah, that is it. What? Internet? Oh, you want to recharge internet? Okay, then hold on. Do you have my HDFC debit card? Is it okay? Just hold on for a minute. Hold on for a minute. Hold You have 686. And this one is debit, so you need the pin. Yeah, this is debit, you need the pin. It is debit and you need the pin. Pin is 4727. Four three six three HDFC debit. 4363. Eh? 858. Yeah. And it is a pin is 4727. 0686, yeah. SDFC, this is SDFC. Debit, this is debit. But you need for how much you need? Okay. 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 I'm in the class, so ask less as possible calls, okay? No need OTP, it is PIN. No need OTP, it is PIN because it is debit. Okay. Then you got one. I'll tell you. Okay. My son is charging internet for him. The problem is that now OTP 395499. Oh, 394459. Okay.
You can take a screenshot.
Yeah, I said 3954. Wait.
39449.
395499. Okay, it's just remember, okay?
So you can take a screenshot and send it, sir. That will be much better.
Eh?
You can take a screenshot and send in WhatsApp. Within 2 seconds it will reach.
395499. Yeah, 395499. 549. Yeah. Okay. 5499. Yeah. Done. Yeah. Good. Thank you.
Ashish?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yesterday we had your match.
Eh?
Yesterday we heard what you were wearing. Just wondering. Yeah, but Ashish sir.
My son, yeah, he's charging his internet resort for a mobile, and then 461 or something. That's every month, and that is so he cannot do anything. He has a debit card, but he cannot do anything with that except taking some money. I've given him a debit card without CVV,
Okay.
and only he can take money.
He cannot use it for purchasing.
So he has to depend upon me to purchase.
Mm.
Now with the charging, he has to depend upon me. Some way, restrictions we create for the children.
Yeah.
And they have the right to spend, but not so much. So whenever we withdraw money, it comes to me. Then they ask about Papa, this is the reason I withdraw money. So it may be anything, but then I'm little careful about it. Now, the prophets. What is the prophets? The prophets' vision of the identity. It is again. See, the debate of universalism and group identity centered around the question whether one's ultimate significance is established by membership in a community or not. See, that you have to understand. The universalism and the membership in a community. So, what is exactly significant? That we have to understand. The prophets called for, prophets were known as prophets of Israel. For example, Isaiah or Micah or any of these prophets of Israel prophets. And at times, they were cursing, they were prophesying punishment for everything, at the same time prophesying punishment for Israelites also. So, see, when you see, when you have a close look in Amos, in Isaiah, you will see that you only have, it is said that, you see, there is a kind of universalism. See, Micah says, you only have known of all the families of the earth, therefore I will punish you for all your iniquities. Israelites will be punished. Amos says. And then see Micah, Isaiah and Micah. There is a kind of universalism in Isaiah's announcement. Out of Zion shall go forth the law, and all the nations shall flow to the mountain of the house of the Lord. See, out of Zion, what happens? The blessing shall go forth to all the nations. It's not for one particular group, but it is universal. So Micah also says the same thing. It is for the entire group, not for one group. So the prophets always talk about the universal understanding. Identity of Israelites is maintained as one of the people group. You got it? That we have to understand. Israelites, its identity is maintained as one. And then superiority is claimed. Always. Because from my perspective, my family, my people will be always superior. So that superiority is always claimed. That is it. So these are some of the things we have to understand. Isaiah, see, it says that Yahweh addresses Israel in intimate terms. On the other hand, Yahweh calls up the nations to turn and be saved. So it is calling the nations in individual terms, but at the same time, it is to say that they are calling for the people to be saved. This is it. Yeah. Oh. Money is gone. Always this is money matters. Yeah, when you have children, you will know that. So, you have only one child, now it is only. It will take some more time for you to know it. They will make you to spend all the money. And they will make you to save also, but they will make you to spend also all the money, So, you tell them, see certain things, I learned from them. Is 2 years ago, I was coming in, my son was just 16, 15 years old. And he was 11, he was 10 passed, and I think not 10, I don't think he was going. We were going for a coaching center to tuition for him. And yearly, they asked for 1 lakh for yearly tuition. This subject. Which subject? I was gasping, when I heard the amount. So we were walking back 2-3 kilometers. We started walking back. And he also walks well. So we say to save some 20 rupees, 30 rupees, we started walking back. Then while we walked, my son asked me, my son said, see that fellow, he's an engineering, B.Tech graduate. The way he earns money, then he was tuition, he earns 1 lakh from each student, it means 2 years more. And you couple of degrees, so many degrees in your hand, handful of degrees. And what are you earning? Peanuts. Either you are earning peanuts and you don't have money for anything. See this fellow with the B.Tech, how much you are earning. See, education can bring so much money. And what about you? I said, this is a commitment. It's a call. It's a calling and commitment that we have a commitment towards the cause, and it's called that we believe. And that is why we work for these peanuts. And we are not bothered, we just work because it's not a big thing. So we are happy, contented. And he immediately asked me, Papa, do you think that this man doesn't have a commitment to his work? Do you think that this fellow is not called to do his work? Without a call for the work and without a commitment, how can he be successful? He is successful in his work because he is called to do that and he is committed to do that. You think only you have the commitment and call? No, he also has that commitment. That is why he is successful. All these years, I always thought of Christian commitment call. I never thought others have to call and commitment to do the work. And this guy, 15 years old, he taught me, opened my eyes, and yes, he is successful because he is committed to the work. And he is successful because he is, as a call to do that work. It's not only you, he said. Sometimes they teach you so much. They open your eyes so much. Yeah. See, that was God. I never thought of it. Never had an understanding of such an understanding. Yes, it is true. Any successful person is called to do that work. Otherwise, he cannot. How can he be successful if he is not committed to the work? So he was telling me.
Yeah, even a criminal and terrorist is called to do that and they are successful in doing that.
Yeah.
So in that sense, that is also justified in
Yes.
that statement.
Yeah. Committed to the work.
Yeah.
Otherwise, how is
Commitment itself is a critical issue.
And you talk about what a Christian commitment.
Yeah.
What does it mean? Commitment is same. Whether it's Christian or non-Christian or unchristian, you know?
Yeah, but cause is something that
Especially these national people, they have too much commitment.
Yeah.
Just like in terrorism. Even they will die, but they have to complete
They're
the
so
work.
committed.
That's why I said no, all the criminals, all the
They are
terrorists.
extremely
And that's right, they
committed,
have more.
and they are ready to die. The terrorists coming out, they are ready to die for the cause. Called to do that, committed to do that. And that's it. See, the thing is different, you know. So Isaiah presents Yahweh as calling the nations to conversion. Turn to me and be saved. All you end of the earth, for I am God and there is no other. See, that is what Isaiah says. Isaiah says, it's not only to Israel, calling everybody. Turn to me and be saved. Is it for Israel only? Is it for Israel only? No. Whoever turns to me, you will be saved. That is what. So when Micah says, let justice flow like waters and righteousness like mighty stream, it's for not only for Israel.
Sir, I have one more doubt. How will you interpret one text, particularly, I think in Matthew chapter 15 it says that one Canaanite community will come
What is it?
Matthew chapter 15 here says that one Canaanite woman will come and she will ask for her children. I think her daughter is sick and she will ask for help. Then Jesus will
I'll come to that. I'll come to that.
Okay.
I'll be talking about that. Yeah, don't worry. Yeah. The New Testament I have it. I'll be talking about that. Okay. So, what is it? It is, I said, it is a universal outlook. Then the salvation is extended to all world by a suffering servant. That's what. Salvation is extended to all world. It's not for Israelite only. So, there is a wrong notion, even today among the Christians, that Israel is the only chosen generation. It's the wrong notion. It is. You cannot say that Israel is only.
Then God was desired to reach out to the other nation, even in the Old Testament. But is Jewish people limited there?
See, that's a reception again. See, they were the one who received the reception and acknowledged it, accepted it. So they are acknowledged.
But they didn't reach to others. Share the God's
Yes.
laws.
They were the light unto the nations, called to be the light.
But
They
failed.
didn't do that. They did not do that. They did not do their function properly.
And then the law says that you must be separate yourself from the other nations and so not be.
That is all exclusivist nature they are picturing, saying that they should not be, but it is not actually the story. Then, what is the work of God?
Of the
It
marriage.
is by this they were confining God within that small group by this small, this kind of rules. They were confining God within that small group. That was the biggest mistake. See, God is a God of the nations. God is a God of the whole creation. God is a God of the whole universe. And then a small group of people confining this God without propagating, without telling the truth. Once you know it, you are not telling the truth to others. What happened? You are the culprit. You are the culprit. For example, if you find a treasure and you keep it without anybody's knowledge and without using, what is happening? You are the culprit. It's neither used nor given to somebody, isn't it? So you are, that is for the public, that is for the common good. But you are not giving it, saying that it is mine. At the same time, you did not permit anyone to use it and you also did not use it. That is actually so.
Because this bothers me sometimes, after the Jesus we see the gospel all over the world, but before the Jesus Christ, why God is limited?
It says
So
very
many
clearly,
years.
God has never left.
community.
No, it says very clearly, God has never left himself without witnesses. It says very clearly in Acts chapter 17. Yeah. Even though it is, God has never left him without witnesses. There were witnesses. There were people, prophets all over to lead the people to the right way. May not be the same principle. Principles are different, used. But there were people to take care of the creation. There were. That is it. That you have to understand. So, till then, otherwise, what happened? Until the Christ, coming of Christ, what happened? All the people should be in the hell. Huh?
That's the question.
Only several thousands of years, all of them will go to hell. Can you say that all of them will go to hell? No. How can you say that? That is the place he said God has never left himself without witnesses. That you have to understand.
Sir, also in Psalms, David writes that all other gods are just like a statue, but our God is living one.
Yes. That is his faith. That is his faith. God should not be worshipped in idols. That is
He's speaking to about some other God like Kanayat God.
Yes, that is his faith. And he is affirming, acknowledging it. And at the same time, they did not propagate it. They killed them. They did not propagate. They killed them. You know. So who is the culprit? Ananias is the culprit now? No? See, as long as I do not know.
Another question is there, if God has witnessed himself in Old Testament, every people, and then how we can apply now that this gospel of Jesus Christ is necessary, and it was, in the Old Testament it was somehow we can deny it.
See, this is again something we have to understand. There are groups of
Again we are applying that now you have to believe Jesus.
there are people believing in God. May not be strictly Christians. There are so many people groups. For example, there is a group of people in Chennai. They are not members of the church. There is a big hall. All the Hindus, many of them are there. They come, they pray, sit and pray for hours of time. And they all worship Jesus. They say, Jesus, you are my God. I believe you. But when I go to family, I go to the temple with my family. But you are my God. I am believed. Are they not children of God?
Of course, sir.
They are not going to the church. I told the person, Balu, who started it, I told him not to take him to the church and
About the story of Subara.
and now another group I tell you. Judges chapter 4 and 5. Naaman is there. It's not Judges, sorry. First Kings. Naaman story, First Kings. Naaman story. See, the interesting thing, Naaman came to Israelites. And the prophet is come to God. He took bath in Jordan, dipped himself 7 times, and he said his body became, the skin became the skin of the
Baby.
black. Boy, small. After that, when he left, before he left, he went to the prophet and said, Man of God, I'm going back to my country. See, when I know God of Israel is a God, I believe. But when I go with my boss to the temple of David, David's temple, I will go before him. I will escort my boss and I will go before him. See, what did Elisha tell him?
Please do that.
Huh? Go in peace.
Do that.
Go in peace.
Permitted.
He did not tell, Elisha did not tell Naaman, no, you know who is God, you know the God of Israel is a God, and you should not do that. Even if your head is or you will be beheaded, don't do that. Tell your king. Did he say that? He didn't say. He said, go in peace. Go in peace. He took the soil from the Israel, land of Israel, is it not? Yes. Did the man of God, did Elisha forget it? He didn't forget. It's okay. Whatever you like to take, it's for all. You take. Land is all. Everybody's. You take. I will go to there and go with my king. That is my livelihood. So, go in peace. That is it. And Elisha did not tell Naaman to go and evangelize the Arab Syrians. He didn't tell. You are the evangelist now. You are the people of God, men. You have taken baptism. Now go, preach the gospel. Evangelize all the Assyrians. Use your position and convert them. Did he say that? He didn't say that. He didn't ask him to convert. Go in peace. Is it not? That is it. Yeah. Preach the gospel. If necessary, use nails.
Those people are living in the same situation today. They should be continue or they should be believe in Jesus Christ to have salvation.
See, again, you see very few only as Christians outside. There are a lot of people. People came with Naaman. They believe, but their names are not there. Because they have witnessed it. They have witnessed Naaman's story. And they believed. And they went back to Syria. And they also, with their families and bosses, they also will go like this. But then, they believe in the God of Israel. Is it not? They will continue as Syrians. They will tell people about this, what happened now. And people will believe. And they will also continue in Syria, but believe in Syrians. Got it? Yes, it's there. So it's not the conversion that matters. It is the faith that matters. You got it? That is it, yeah. Okay. Yeah. So he sends his prophet and his people, bringing salvation to the ends of the earth. That is it. Yeah. See, this is a missionary dimension of Israel's election. There is a missionary dimension. Salvation is extended to the world by a suffering servant. And that means Israel was given a missionary dimension. They did not do it. They were given a missionary dimension. They were called to be the missionaries. Unfortunately, they didn't do it. They did not do that was only wrong. But they were called to be the missionaries. That we need to understand. So, yeah. So, again, continuing. Where is it? I don't want to continue so much with this going down. Yeah. Isaiah also claimed that it is Yahweh who raised Cyrus and provides. You know Cyrus?
Yeah.
Huh? Cyrus, my servant. He is called as my servant. Who is this servant? Who is this servant?
Gentile.
It's a Persian king. And what connection Cyrus has? Was he not an idolatrous king? He was also worshipping idols only. Isn't it? An idol worshipper. There are several theories. Some people say Cyrus was only a name given, but it's not the king. No, but Cyrus was a real king. Cyrus was raised to be my servant. See, God can have a servant from the Persians who is an idolatrous king. Persian religion, you know Persian religion? Fire worshippers. Fire worshippers. Zoroastrian. He was a Zoroastrian. How can a Zoroastrian, a Persian, be the servant of God? understand. That means it is said that, there is Cyrus as Yahweh's anointed. Isaiah 45:1. He is anointed one, not simply servant, anointed one. Yeah, it is said that the name Cyrus is original, but it simply indicates the commission. That's what some people say, but it's not. He is to act as king. Yet another group claims Cyrus has several areas of history presented in Isaiah. So Cyrus is promised the redeemer of the Jews. Yeah, that is what it says. So, it is to say that, see, now Cyrus is a newly anointed king, Isaiah 45:1-3, who subdues the nations. Yeah. See, it is said that in 44:28, it says that God, Yahweh, authorizes Cyrus. And there is, Cyrus is positioned in terms of Israel's creation theology and in line with royal theology. The following song illustrates the application of Davidic theology to Cyrus. That is, say that. See, Isaiah chapter 41:2-5. If you read, then you will see a royal song. And it is also that Cyrus understands. Cyrus is the anointed one. He is a pagan. He was somebody who had nothing to do with Israel. But he is an anointed one. He is accepted as an anointed one. That means, the universe response. Yeah. The central theme of the whole of Isaiah is the redemption, and that is through the representative of God. That is, when you see 7 verse 14 onwards also, and anywhere you see a redeemer comes, and Cyrus is the picture of that redeemer. Cyrus is the anointed. So there is a possibility of Cyrus even in the other cultures. Is it not? There is a possibility of Cyrus even in other cultures. That is right. So, along with Yahweh's anointed, Cyrus is also called my shepherd. He is my shepherd, it is said. That is it. Yeah? Isaiah 44:24-28. And Jerusalem, it shall be rebuilt, and the temple, your foundation shall be laid. It says, Yahweh's purpose is very clear. I have arose Cyrus in righteousness, and I will make all his paths straight. He shall build my city and set my exiles free, not for price or reward, says the Lord of hosts. Isaiah 45:30. Isaiah 45:30. It says, Cyrus will do my mission. That is it. Yeah. Okay. And then comes, the story of before that, this prophet radically brings the concept that God is God of all Israel, all as well as Israel. And Israel is told to be the light to the nations. Cyrus is Lord's anointed one. This is proved by him by playing a key role in restoration of Jewish community. So, Israel is the light to the nations, but Cyrus is anointed one. So what happened? The Cyrus is not coming from the Israel, from the light and the nation, but outside. So anointed one can be from outside also. Okay. It's not necessary that it should be from Israel. That is it. The anointed one can be from outside the stream also. That's what it says. Okay. So, it is now the story of Jordan. Story of Jordan. Do we chapter today? No.
No.
Oh, today everybody is free.
Yes, sir. Free, sir.
Oh, I see. So no sound at all. People will be sleeping now.
Yeah, nicely.
It's cold, so they will go and sleep.
Yeah.
Yesterday it was 7 degrees Celsius. Night time. It was 7 degrees Celsius.
Night it was 7?
Yes, sir.
Really?
Yes, sir. 7:10.
Oh.
Now morning it was 14.
No, morning it was 14, so early morning it was 11, then 14. Now I don't know how much it is. City it may be.
The inside is
Huh?
so many people.
This room is cold. I feel cold.
18.
Huh?
24. Now.
The hardware is cold.
It's not even 15 is below 15.
This room is, but Itarsi in the road, I think, is 21.
Outside.
Yeah.
Outside this. Which is very cold. In summer, how is it?
Yeah, someone likes
For summer,
Yeah, it's like it will not be hot. Means it will maintain the.
Because it's all closed,
Yeah.
And
Moreover,
summer, the sun will not come inside.
It will.
And
We have enough room for ventilation.
also the ground floor.
Yeah.
There is no basement, is it not?
No.
This is the first building or?
Yeah, the first building. We had first the church, but it was demolished and being constructed as a new one. But after that, we had one more, but that was sold. So this one is, I think, the second. Yeah, third.
Sorry. It's amazing. Yeah. Good. What to do? They are ready to give me loan. Just need to say yes, they are ready to come, give me any amount of doctor loan, teacher loan, and any amount that what? Yeah, now we talk about the book of Jonah. Jonah, the story of Jonah. See, the contrast between universal group centered forms of identity is well expressed in Jonah. The people neglected the call to be light of the nations, and Cyrus as Lord's anointed that we have seen. The book of Ezra, Nehemiah, and Esther emphasize Jewish group identity almost to the point of chauvinism. Ezra, Nehemiah, Esther. It's these three books, it emphasizes Jewish identity so much. It's so narrow. Because Ezra did not want, Nehemiah did not want any mixed generation people. Mixed marriages. He threw them out. Cast it out. And that was the reason the Samaritans. You know the story of the Samaritans? We'll talk about that. See, during the time of Ezra only, what happened? The Samaritans became a strong group. Because one of the priests was the son-in-law of the Ammonite. So he was he was from the Levite priest. So he ran away because he was boosted out. He ran away, taking a copy of the Torah. He ran away, and that is the time. In Samaria they constructed a temple, and that temple actually became the temple in Samaria. Earlier, you know about the 10 tribes. The 10 tribes had a worship place in Samaria. Is it not? What is it? And they were taken captives to Assyria. And the 10 tribes they had Samaria as a worship place. But later what happened? These 10 tribes left, deported, and then there was a small group of people. They were actually from the original Israelites, but the returned exiles, they were not ready to accept them. They did not accept them. So what happened? The Ezra and Nehemiah group, basically Ezra group, they were so narrow-minded that they did not want to accept their own people, and that is the place, what happened, the mixed generation emerged, and the Samaritans emerged. And one of the priests went to there and started a Samaritan temple. And that temple was destroyed by one of the kings, John I'll give you later that name. And once it was destroyed, King Herod reconstructed it. Another temple was constructed by one given. But people were not very happy with that. Anyway, what we are trying to say, now we have to say, the emergence of Samaritans as a strong body till the coming of Jesus was because of the Jewish chauvinism. Because now man has to know who's to know. They were actually Israelites. They were Israelites, 10 tribes. They were deported. What mixed up with the other group? Some of them came back. And then they wanted to worship their forefathers' God, God of their forefathers. But this Jewish group, they did not accept it. That is an narrow-mindedness. Saying that even Nehemiah and Ezra prompted or forced the people to divorce their wives and husbands. Their wives with children and husbands. You know that? That's a very tragic story. That shows the Jewish Taoism and narrow-mindedness. Yeah. How can you accept it? You are legally married to a wife, and that wife is, that too, before the coming of the Ezra. Before Ezra's time. It's not after Ezra. And that was a child period. And the rule of law was not there. The Mosaic law was not imposed. Because there were no priests. And there were no worship. And that is the time it so happened. And people were unaware of the law. And then what happened? They were forced to divorce their wives. This is actually, instead of working as a means of salvation, they work as a means of destruction. So people neglect. The Ezra, Nehemiah, and Esther was a Jewish group identity almost to the point of salvation. With general genealogy is making it easier to establish who did and who did not belong. And with Ezra's prayer and his call to the men of Israel to put away their foreign wives and children, even the children were put away. The book of Jonah and Ruth represented a reaction against such chauvinism. Jonah pokes fun at an explicitly chauvinistic character named Jonah, and contrasting his narrowness with God's compassion for the entire world. This is the story. Jonah, as a book if you read, it is a kind of sarcastic comments you will see. Jonah is a chauvinist, a Jewish chauvinist, who does not want Nineveh to
Be saved.
be saved, saying that Nineveh is out of question. You cannot do anything with Nineveh. But then, see, contrasting with that, God's way of doing God's salvation and compassion. You see, asking Jonah to go. So Jonah doesn't want to go to Nineveh, so he went back to Tarshish. No, running. It is not because he is afraid. He does not want these people to be saved. This is actually Jewish chauvinism. He does not. He does not want God to be the God of his people. How is it? That's the story. And that is the place you will see everything in a different way.
Sir, in the case of Jonah, there is some background place behind, because these Assyrians were so cruel, and in their history, their forefathers, they were killed by these Assyrians brutally. So that may be some kind of
See, Jonah was actually not the book you have to understand. It was maybe the Jonah's book. Originally, Jonah was not a person who lived during that period or something. No. It must have been written long before that. Much before.
before this Assyrian and fought with Israel.
Yeah, it should be. Like Job. Like Job, it must be. The Jonah story is a different, altogether different story. Historical Bible is much different. But again, even if the Assyrians brutally killed,
It seems that they after they coming from the Egypt, and before the exile, this is second exile, they were living in the promised land, and
Assyrians took them. Assyrians took them. That's what the story.
civilization were developed and the kings were there.
The story, where did Jonah start? He started from which point?
Start it is got someone
Yes, then where, which place? Which place is actually started? To Nineveh. From where? Huh? Is it said Jerusalem? Huh? Is it said Jerusalem? Open book of Jonah. Do you see somewhere in Jonah's book? Where is that is there?
So also sir, one thing when we look geographically, near to Nineveh there is no sea, sir. How this big blue whale moving to Jonah and Jesus went to Nineveh?
No, it's a sea. He started by sea. And from where he started?
So it mentioned about the Tarsus.
No, Tarsus, he went to Tarsus.
Yeah.
But from where? From where he started?
The word of the Lord came to
He
Jonah.
talks.
Right.
Go to the great city of Nineveh
Yeah.
and preach against it, because its wickedness has come up for me. But Jonah ran away, not listen.
That is the story. That's actually the thing. Nobody knows from where Jonah. We can only geographically locate some place. And then he went to which place? Tarsus. Which direction is that? No. Huh? This is something which you have to understand. The Jonah story, why does it include, or why do we include Jonah story? This thing, yeah. Assyria, this is Assyria. And they are trying to put it from where Jonah started. Intended voyage, Tarshish. And then,
Some says the Joppa.
eh? Yeah. See, Nineveh and Tarshish, it's opposite. It's opposite. So, it must be from the middle somewhere. So, from where? Joppa. Joppa is Judah. Joppa is in Judah. Is it not? Huh? Joppa is in Judah. So what exactly happened? Jonah's story took place much before all these prophets. Okay? It is not between this time. It took place much before the before of other prophets. Eh? And I mean did you see the time period of Jonah? Where? Did you see the time period? It's written in some books. The background?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. What is it written?
612 BC.
Eh?
612 BC.
812 BC.
612
It
BC.
is saying that the background. Yeah. The prophet Jonah ministered 800 to 750 BC. A significant event affected the northern kingdom of Israel. King Jeroboam restored their traditional borders ending almost. See, it is actually Jeroboam in God's. That is what I said. It's much before. As if it
Sir, the date of writing mentioned here 612.
yes, it's much before the Assyrian period. Much before deportation, during the period of Jeroboam, King Jeroboam. That time the Samaria was a rich kingdom. Jeroboam II. During the time of Jeroboam II, this Israeli kingdom was a very prosperous kingdom, flourishing. So kingdom was believed as well.
Till that time there was no war.
Yeah. So it's an entirely different period of time. That's what I wanted to tell you. You got it? So, if Jonah was doing that, it was out of his chauvinism, narrow-minded. That is it. And this is understood again. That time, Israel also, the Jewish kingdom also, was well settled. That's it. So that is what we wanted to see. Yeah. So the book of Jonah and Ruth represented a reaction against such chauvinism. Jonah was, forced to go. and he was against God's compassion and God's universalism. But Jonah hated the Assyrians, but God did not hate the Assyrians. Jonah hated, Jews hated the Assyrians, God did not hate it. That's the story. So that is why, just like you, Assyrians also are my creation. You better go, that is it. Yeah. It is the account of a man who was sent by God to preach in the capital of Assyria, but instead of obeying, he went back to some other place. But Jonah tried to escape this mission, but he was more successful, no more successful in escaping. When Jonah sought to flee, you know what happened from the mission? See, God pursued him and finally brought him after some harrowing experience. That is it. So, it is to say that, see, he was deeply disappointed that these Assyrians, the most barbaric of enemies that the nation of Israel had faced at that point, should have escaped the destruction that was so close at hand. This was Jonah's point. Assyrians, always our enemies, let them die. But God doesn't want it. Let them die. That was Jonah's point. Why should I go and preach? Let these people die.
Sir, was there no any other gods for Assyrians that time?
Yes. Assyrians were having their own gods.
So, if we see that God is revealing in different
And now, see, it is again, that is why he did not leave people without witness. That is why Jonah is sent there. To witness. Sodom and Gomorrah is another example. God sent his own people to witness. Isn't it? Yeah. But they didn't listen. Lot was a witness. But the problem with Lot, he never did it. He never did his job. That was the issue. He never did his job. Yeah. So, it is to understand, Jonah did not want these people to escape. For Jonah, it was human that they should die. But for God, it is not like that. God wanted his creation to come under the salvation experience. That is it. Now, see, we will talk about Jesus' approach. Okay, you need a break? It starts with Jesus' approach. Afterwards, we take a break. Yeah. Can I have a break?
Yes.
Taking break.
See, that's what I have done. What is your do your thinking of the day? Other example, again from level number 1.
See how distance he has traveled instead of going this way. Assyria is here. So now the
Oh, that's in Spain.
Yes, it's Spain.
Okay, Spain, France, Turkey. Assyria, okay.
क्या बुक कलर टिकट भी दी थी?
हाँ यार,
किसको?
तो सर दिल्ली जाना है।
कब निकल रहा? सैटरडे और संडे?
संडे निकलूंगा तो कब आऊँगा? फ्राइडे ही निकलूंगा ना। क्लास लेना ना यार।
सर को फोन लगाओ ना कि वो कॉफी चाहिए, कॉफी नहीं है। सर को फोन लगा के बोलो।
नहीं, वो तो गए उधर पिकनिक में गए।
तो उनको बोलो ना फिर, दानिश भैया।
लाइव ना
हैं?
लाइव उनको पता है क्लास चल रही।
वो नहीं लाएंगे यार, उनको बोलना पड़ेगा क्योंकि उन्होंने तो सुबह दे दिया खत्म। थोड़ा लगाओ ना फोन।
चल